I'm going to be asking you to interact a lot throughout this presentation with using this format. And we're not going to break into small groups and have discussion. And then we're going to formulate the evening presentation together, because that's one of the principles of education at your level. And then that way I can, when you help to formulate it, I can get you to commit to what is coming after. And then what I want to do to specifically deal with this topic about what we have to go through during this period of the pandemic and learning online is to use the personality traits that you have to let you know what are your strengths and weakness for being a student during this time. So we'll go through, I'm going to ask you to rate yourself, and then I'm going to ask you to just post in the group where you stand with each trait. Now, some of them may be a little delicate, so for those, if you want, because I still want you to get involved by posting, you can, instead of doing to everyone, you can just send that to me. I'm not going to read it. It's just part of the exercise for you to get involved. And then for each of them, when we get there, I'm going to ask you to, from your own, also post how you think that your personality trait is going to be a challenge or a help for you during this time. So the whole intention is for you to get very involved in this session. Is there any opening comments anyone wants to make at this point? All right, wonderful.
No, it's all right. The comment that I would make is that in one of the things about you're afraid of what you don't know. So you're asking people to do something and they're not quite sure why. And that in itself may cause anxiety. And I think a lot of the experience in studying or in doing a new program could rest on something like that. That's just a comment that I wanted to make. It's ironic that you're taking this tone in the presentation.
And I think you may be tapping into what a number of them are feeling now. So, which is good. And moving forward in the master's program, it is good from the very beginning that you have this approach to the program, that you are going to take ownership of how the program works. So we're kicking off like that. So this is what I explained. Education is a dialogue. And I want to hear from you right from the beginning, if you know what it is you're looking for in this program. And if it's just to get a master's degree, put that out there. But I want you to start to think about, why is it you're doing this program? What it is you want out of it? So if some of you are brave, you could just go ahead and text that to everybody. And then if one or two of you would like to speak about that, just raise your hand. I'm going to ask Ms. Thomas to monitor the chat, and whoever raises a hand, give them permission to speak. So if you would go ahead and do that now, just why are you doing this program?
Hi everyone, hi Olivine. I'm actually driving, so I won't be able to type. I raised my hand to indicate that I would like to speak audibly.
Yeah, sure, go ahead, please.
Are you guys hearing me? Okay, right, so yeah, so I opted to do human resource development, using labor and employment relations. I was not so much into just the recruitment, selection, compensation, and all of that, but I wanted to do something that would involve some amount of technical expertise, so policy development, policy writing, which I saw was involved in this course. So I opted to do it to be able to be trained in that area so that I can contribute more to the development of the workforce, the most important resource of a company, the people. I enjoy that. Learning more about it would enable me to, in addition to my labor relations theoretical knowledge and the little experiential knowledge I have on it, coupled with HRD, I think, you know, would make a great career field, one that I'm interested in. Yeah, that's it. Hope you
Nice.
guys heard
Damien
that.
has something to say. Okay. Damien has something to say as well.
Hi, good evening, everyone. You guys hearing me?
Good evening.
Yes.
Yes, we're hearing you.
Yes. All right. So my name is Damon Langlin. I'm interested in this program. I decided to pursue this program because I have often heard and believe that the human capital is one of the most valuable assets of an organization. And I believe that ensuring that there are systems and policies in place that cater to the human capital, cater to the individuals of an organization are very important. So I opted to pursue this course because I wanted to understand understand a little bit more about human resource overall, generally, and just to have a better appreciation for how developing these policies can affect the individuals who work in an organization, which would in turn speak to how they perform in the organization, and then of course speak to a more general and expansive contribution that they make as a citizen in our society. So I believe that there's a lot of connections that exist. So I wanted to be able to pursue this discipline to get a better grasp and appreciation of the entire practice.
Errol and Shireen have written comments. I don't know if they wanted to actually say what they said. No? And Anna K, you want to read out yours? You want me to read them out for you?
We have a very shy.
All right. Okay. All right. So
Group.
Shireen says, I'm doing the program because I love to learn and get as much knowledge as I can. And let's see, Errol said, I'm doing the program in order to further my professional development as an HR practitioner. And of course, I said, thanks to Camille. And Anna K said, I'm doing this program primarily to further study, just to create a better quality of life for myself and my family. I think I have what it takes to transform organizational operations in a positive way. And actually, there was something that I thought of, and Doreen has done it. Doreen says, I'm proud to be a graduate of the MSc HRD program. I think it provides its students with all the necessary tools needed to go out and transform organizations. Now, what I was thinking about is that I was going to put Marsha on the spot. I know Marsha is a returning student. She's not a first-year student. And I wanted to know from her, having gone through the program for a year, has her goal changed in any way, or has how she sees HR changed in any way? I wanted her to answer that. But then there's Paula, who said, I want to learn a different field so as to keep my employment opportunities open. And since I'm interested in training, I would love to work in the field of human resource. Wow, it's gone. Human resource development, and get the opportunity to strengthen staff in an organization based on the knowledge gained in this program. Mitchell said, I'm currently in the HR field. I enjoy the job that I do, and I believe that pursuing a master's in HRD will extend my knowledge base. I believe that there is a lot that I will learn and will be able to put to good use. And Suzanne says, I'm doing this program to get a deeper understanding of HR and use the skills that I gain to improve the lives of employees on a whole. I believe that our present HR model needs improvement here, and I believe that I have what it takes to be one of the best HR practitioners, and of course, to enhance my professional abilities. Yes.
Olivine, why you like to pick on me?
Because you were the first person to come here. You were almost the host of the meeting.
Well, for me, I came into the program because I'm actually in career change mode, right? And it's as if each course that you do, like you say, oh, I like staffing. Oh, I like this. It's like you start to like every component of the course. And I'm at a loss now what I will choose for the practicum, because everything teaches you so much more that you want to go deeper into it. So it's a very interesting program for me, and I am just waiting to practice some more.
Doc, because I'm not
Yes.
taking over the presentation.
No, thank you. I was a bit worried if people were going to participate. So I'm glad that so many people came in. And this is the tempo that we're going to keep throughout this presentation. I want you to be, not you, Olivine, I want you, the participants, to be involved. And there's going to be a lot more input from you during this
Can
time.
we ask Professor Hutton, though? Professor Hutton is the coordinator of the program. Does he have any perspective on what he hopes to get out of the program? Professor Hutton?
Putting him on
Well,
the spot.
Of course.
My perspective will be fairly broad, because this is the first group that is, well, first cohort that is going to face a cohort year. The group before experienced in the latter part of last semester, and based on all the information we have, at the end of 2 years, COVID-19 will still be around. Of course, we want that to be something else. So it's going to be important, starting now, how we plan and what we do to function and function effectively, if I can use that term, if we really can operate effectively in it at all. So, but we have to start now. We have to acquire the requisite knowledge and skills. We have to, even though we speak loudly of physical distancing, the social distancing, and it will result from physical distancing. And it would seem to me that we need more of the social coming together, where persons find ways and means of communicating and making contact as we pursue the academic work. We have projects that are group, and so we have to continue to work in groups. But question, how do we do that and do that safely? And bearing in mind that we are going to face this new situation for some time to come. So I think this session is important, and the students themselves will have to play a significant role in fashioning exactly how we proceed.
And I think, Professor, you should have given the introduction, because that's exactly the direction that I'd like us to go here, that people take ownership for the program. Specifically, since my topic is about how you're going to manage as a student through this time, I would like you to also take ownership for that. And by that, it's rather than telling you the things that you can find online about what you should put in place as a student during this pandemic time, I want us to look more closely at ourselves and where it is that we, knowing what we know about ourselves, we can apply ourselves for moving forward. So that's the direction in which we're going. So next, I'd like us to take a while, a moment to see if we know the things about us and our environment that are going to be hindrance for during this time. And I'm going to put up some suggestions. This thing. Share screen. There you go. So is each of us aware of what's happening around us in Jamaica now, and all of the challenges that we're going to have? And knowing that, why would you sign up for a program? But first, what are the challenges? What's going to be the drawback, the things that will get in the way? I put a few suggestions there. I think you're seeing the screen. Sorry, everybody complains about the administration and the administrative structure at UWI, and the challenge that it can be and the frustration that it is. So I don't want that to be the priority that you said that is one of the things that is the most grievous for you. But can you say what are the things going on right now for you that's going to, in your environment, not within you, in your environment, that's going to make it difficult for you unless you put superhuman effort into the challenge? It's going to make it difficult for you to succeed in the program. And so I want you to take a moment now, and if you don't share that with everybody, if you would just take a sheet of paper and write it down, because it's something that I want you to be conscious of throughout the semester, that there are challenges that are already in place for you succeeding in this program. So the usual ones are there. You don't have a functioning computer, Wi-Fi in your area is bad. You're unemployed, or employment is not giving you the time to do it. Working from home has become more demanding than you thought. The composition of your family is such that maybe people say studying right now is a luxury, they don't support you. What are some fantasies you have about being a student? Please don't post those. And is there anything else there? So again, just take a moment and do a reality check. What are the hindrances right now for you in being a student? It would be helpful, because we get support from that, if you do post to everyone what are some of your hindrances, because when others see it, it helps to know that, yes, this is what I'm experiencing, someone else is experiencing, and it is real. So if some of you would just go ahead and post that to everyone, that would be helpful. Not you, Olivine, you're not a student.
Who told you that?
You're a student of life, we know that.
She's probably getting the calls.
Well, admitting to the challenges makes me more aware of what I have to face and the level of attention that I have to place on them, so I get through the program as much as possible.
And you said something that is key psychologically. In facing any issue, the first thing that we have to do is to admit that there's an issue and to admit what it is. So, all right, Nikisha, you can turn off your mic now. Let me pick on someone else. Shanique, Shaneike. Ms. Thomas, I think you should keep a check of who is responding and who is not.
And give everybody, you know that in past years, what we would do for participation is to give a free textbook, you know that.
Ah.
We used to do that, and notice the stress on used to.
Okay.
But no, we used to bribe people to take part in orientation. And we found that actually those who did better in the program. So please, people, speak up.
I won a book last year and I used it.
You use it for what?
For my program, I use it for about 2 courses.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Marsha, we're only seeing your nose and forehead.
Okay.
And Amiel, would you tell us what this has been like for you? The participation.
What did you say, Camille?
No, and Amiel.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
How are you?
Good, good. It would be good to see you.
Is that better?
Yes, I guess.
Let's see. All right, for me, all right, so for the participation is I have a high stress job. Most times I am struggling to leave work at 5. Most times I leave work at 7. So for me, as my husband says, it's about managing my time to ensure that even if it's online, as he says, I pack up my desk by 10 to 5 and I'm out of there to get home in the hills to start my class on time so I don't miss out on anything that is important. And also the internet challenge, because where I am in Mountain Spring, ever so often we get disruption. So I'm a little bit nervous about that aspect of it.
Okay.
Missing face-to-face, I like being with people, but I'm able to adjust and cope well enough doing online.
Thank you very much. That's very
Thank you,
helpful
sir.
to hear that.
Thank you.
Let me pick on just one more person so people can feel included. Paula.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, sir. How may I help you, sir? I'm sorry, my internet has been chipping in and out, so I am actually using my phone now to try and set up my data.
All right. So you the question was, what is it like so far, beginning as a student in this program and with this introduction that you're going through? And I guess you're telling us that you're having some technical challenges already, correct?
Yes, I'm having that, and I share with others the fear of the internet going. And I do prefer face-to-face, but I guess I have to work with COVID. And there's some other little challenges I guess I'll work through.
Okay.
But I'm looking forward to it though, because I'm hoping to really gain something to propel me further.
All right. Thank you, Paula.
You're welcome, sir.
So people, what is being said so far is separate and aside of what you can learn on Google about, Paula, could you turn off your speaker, please?
Oh, sorry.
Separate and aside from what you can learn on Google about balancing as a student and the work, is this initial stage that we're going through in just doing a tally of all the challenges that you are having. It's critical for going forward, because when you see it, or we're talking about it as we are now, it puts in the frame of that you put in the frame for us that we have to put some effort into making things work. It can't just be, I'm in a program, put one foot in front of the other and go. That is not going to be enough. So I hope just this first part that we have established that. So if you are not being able to, at the start of this presentation, to have been keeping a tally for yourself, set aside some time to answer the questions that have been asked so far, and then for you to react to those. The other thing I want us to deal with now, which is a component of preparing ourselves to go into this program, is to admit that for most of us as Jamaicans, we think of ourselves as resilient, and so all of the problems that are out there, they are not insurmountable. We can get over them. All we have to do is just put our minds to it. And sometimes when we do that, one of the real problems is that gets in the way of us having a balance that we can read about on Google that gets in the way of our having a balance is that we have suppressed some of the real feelings that we're having about what it is that we're involved in. And because we're experts at not expressing our feelings, they get suppressed and then they come out in the wrong way throughout the year. So all the best things can be said about how to be a good student, how to work during this pandemic, what to put in place for an online program for yourself. But if we're not dealing with some of the things that we're feeling very strongly now, they are going to derail the program for us. And oftentimes, poor Miss Thomas has to deal with that at the end of the semester when people come in and unburden on her what they have been feeling all semester but haven't said about it. So I want to do a simple exercise with you. You're not going to post it to everyone. Where's my share screen? If you would just look at those feelings that are there and see if you can say that you're feeling one of those now. So just say that to yourself, and then I'm going to ask you, because this may be a little touchy for some of you, and I don't see that this Zoom is being recorded. If you could then do the brave
Yes,
thing.
it is being recorded.
Oh, if they take something to me, will that be recorded too?
I beg your pardon? No, it would be on the chat, but we don't have to post the chat.
All right. So if you would just now text to me, I think my name there is Lester, what you're feeling about the program. I'm not going to read them. I just want you to start being honest with yourself about things that may hinder your being the student that you want to be. So if you would do that now, just text. And if you want to text it to everybody, go ahead, please, because it might be helpful. But just go ahead and just, as they say, get it out of your system. Put it out there, please. Errol, have we heard from you? Rohan, have we heard from you? Who is AGM?
Good evening.
Good evening, Errol. How are you feeling?
I'm optimistic, yet I'm a bit indecisive. Because when I posted my challenge in the text, in the chat via text, because I anticipate that most of the times when I'll be having classes, I'll be traveling. So I'm gonna have to listen in on my phone and try and work it out. So that's why I'm feeling that way.
Yeah, that you would feel that way, yes. Michelle?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
I am feeling optimistic as well. I am an optimist, and I believe that challenges come about to make us better individuals. And therefore, I don't have much of a concern, maybe because I'm fortunate where my work is flexible enough. I'm in HR, but I'm able to work from home. they give us like maybe one day to come in office if we really need to come in office. I don't have issues with my internet connection. My main fear is that I would have preferred to have face-to-face class instead of online. However, as I said, I don't want to be too fearful because this can teach us something. It can say strengthen us as regards to becoming more digital, right, as the world is going. So I don't have much of a fear. I am being optimistic, and I believe that's the way to go.
Thank you for sharing that. Would someone else like to pipe in without my calling on you?
Hi, Lester. This is Ron McCullough.
Hello, Ron.
Right. So I'm one of the facilitators for the course.
Oh.
And I've been doing it for the last 4 years or 4 or 5 years. I don't remember what your adjectives are, but I think it's a new day in terms of teaching and learning and facilitation. And I just like to say to the students, you know, while there may be some hesitations, I think it is time to take on a challenge and to see it is going to be the mode of the future. And so, you know, for us, let us just work together. As I've posted in the chat, I know the previous cohorts and even the cohort now, they've formed good support group. So for example, I just heard a student talking about commuting while in class. And if you form those strong bonds, you know, by social media and other means, your classmates can fill you in as to what happened. People can, you know, have discussion forums outside of the class to say, okay, this was shared in the class, sort of things. So, and to ensure that support happens. I'm in a support group with, you know, some higher level learning people, and it has been just so interesting to see the things that you don't get from your supervisors and stuff. Others are able to connect and to help you to understand what you don't understand. So all I'd say is that, you know, embrace this circumstance that we're under and make it work for you.
Thank you very much for saying that. So one of the things that we're getting already, and it is coming from you, is that, first of all, people do want to participate with each other in going forward. And so you're hearing that from the group. People are open. This is not a group that you're going to have to wonder, how am I going to break in? How am I going to form these groups? You're hearing from the group that everyone is concerned about that. And so it should be with some confidence that you go forward to rely on each other. So in terms of planning for this program, it is, and you may already know this, the study groups that you would form may now become Zoom groups that you form. And as you hear from each other here, you can immediately start to say, who can I form a group with? Maybe the ones who are driving need to have a balance, you know, during the time that classes are presenting, need to find persons who will be stationary on the Zoom meetings to be the ones in the group with, and form some kind of alliance that. So already we're getting from each other that this is a group that is open to that and open to being straightforward and honest about the challenges that they're having, and making each other feel that this is a group that you can share some of those challenges that you're going through with the pandemic. Which is, if you Google balancing out during this time what you need for the pandemic, one of the items that you will see is, and it is always something that we tell students anyway, have someone and some ones that you know you connect to during this time, and who are in a similar situation that you can talk to about what you're going through. It's one of the critical things that's necessary for this. I'm seeing that it is 6:45, so in the interest
Sorry,
of
one of the
time,
little things that I wanted to ask actually while you were, how do students feel about talking to lecturers? Because it's one thing to sit and talk with students, but you also have to talk with the staff of the University of the West Indies. So if a lecturer is doing something you're not understanding the way that he or she's presenting, or you need something repeated, or you're having some sort of challenge, you can speak with the lecturer, or you can speak with the administrators in the office. But we found that students tend not to do those things. And as you say, we find out about problems after the fact. We find out about them at the end of the semester. In the semester just gone, we found out that people had difficulties with registering when we were entering grades and found that we didn't have grades for them. This is after the exam. I mean, it's all well and good. You say you want to talk to people, but then when the rubber hits the road, you tend not to. And we would like to know why, because we've said you can come to us, but we're still not seeing people coming forward to say, I'm having a challenge. And think about it, it's our job to help you deal with challenges while at the University of the West Indies. So ask that we do our jobs.
and students and participants, you have heard from one of the program directors that her door is open, and it is a program that prides having presenters and admin staff who are open to hearing from you. So it's one of the things that you need to hear from the beginning, that you can take the fear and the trepidation and the hesitancy about talking.
And let me just interject. Well, thank you, Ms. Thomas. It is very relaxing to hear and comforting to know that you have an open door, and yes, we will be coming to you should we have any challenges.
I have an open internet connection right now. No, but the truth is, no, but as I said, we have a goal. And if you think about what our goal is, the mission of the HRD unit, then we execute that through you. So it is in our best interest that you do well here. And we do everything that we can to facilitate that. So you sort of ask yourself, why is it that students are still hesitant? The lecturers, the university has policies. The lecturers can't spite you if you say something. I certainly can't spite you if you say something. And it doesn't help us if we do. So we would encourage students to come forward. But as I said, year in, year out, students listen to each other, they don't listen to us, or they talk to each other, they don't talk to us. And we're the ones who know the system and who can get things done to help you get through the program. And one thing I'll tell you, as I said, I'm not taking over the presentation, but the university has something to help you through every conceivable problem that you have as a student. Last semester, even people who had problems with finding their computers, they had no computer. The university actually started lending computers in the same way that they lend books from the library. So there is, I mean, if you have problems with money, the university will help you. If you have all sorts of things, I mean, any conceivable problem, you have marital problems, you can go talk to Dr. Shields. You have anything, any conceivable problem that will prevent you from doing well here, the University of the West Indies has something in place somewhere that will help you to get through it. And it's our job to help you find those resources. So as I said, I'm puzzled about it, but we try every year to assure students that they can come forward, that there is no reason to fear the program, and they do,
I can say
and
Ms. Thomas is being very honest.
No, but even doing this orientation, I just saw a thing. I'm really fearful. I'm used to face-to-face, but this orientation is specifically for the online thing. So we didn't even do orientation as usual this year. We had an eye to the online dilemma that we're all facing now. So even that. So you see, we always try to anticipate what the problems are so that we can do something to put in a remedy early,
I can say Ms. Thomas really does have an open door policy. You can call her anytime, email her, and she's very, very responsive.
Thank you, Marsha.
And just to say that the thing that she said you can come to me for is not that I have problems in that area, it's marital issues. So just that I practice couples counseling a lot. So. I want to jump ahead because I'm very conscious of the time and I'm a big respecter of time. And so I told you we're going to go into the personality trait. I'm cutting out a lot of other things just to go into the personality trait. And these that are appearing on your screen now, I hope you can all see them. These, they're the model that I was going to present and have you look at yourself so that you can know what are your strengths and your weaknesses as a student, and then fashion a structure for yourself. These last, it's a 30 trait model that I was going to present you and have you rate yourself on. The last 6 of the traits which are here, these are the key ones for success in any area. Student, being a human resource manager, anything. These are, if you're high in, just naturally, your personality traits are high in these students, research over and over shows. And so I want to go through these with you quickly, tell you what they mean, and then tell you if you feel that you're lacking in that area because that's not your personality trait, this is the area in which this is your quick remedy for success. If you can just align these traits moving forward. So unless there are any questions about anything that went before, I want to jump into this. And please write these down. So one of the theories about personality is that we have traits, and the high amount of the trait or the low amount of the trait along 30 traits is what is unique about you. And these are the last on the 30. Competence is a sense that, and some people might call it being bossy in Jamaica. Competence is a sense that is a sense that is just ingrained to some people, that whatever they're asked to do, just because they were asked to do it, they are qualified to do it. If they get put in a position, if they volunteer for something, it's because they know they're competent to do it. They have the competency. Now, you can imagine that there will be people who have no training in a specific area, and if they feel competent that they do, take for example being a medical doctor and not having been to medical school, but if they feel competent in that they could cause a lot of harm. True. And so don't think because if you feel competent about anything, you may cause harm. The truth is that what we have found from research is that persons who do succeed, they find a way to get ahead because of that internal feeling of that. So I would like for you, wherever you fall on this, you tend to never, if you're low in competence, it means for most things, you just don't feel that you're qualified. And it could be even in relationships. If you're married, you don't think you are really cut out. If you're low in competence, that you're really cut out to be a husband, cut out to be a wife, or cut out to be a parent. Whereas a person who is high in competence, they could have come from the most seriously dysfunctional family, and they feel that they will make a good parent, no matter what is their background. They are going to put in place the things that will make them a good parent because they feel competent about it. And so the area for us as students is to feel that I've gotten into this HRD program, I'm competent to be a student in this program. So what we started off with is there's a lot of things that are going on because of the pandemic and the Wi-Fi family and employment that can be hindrance. But those things, because they are not there, does not mean that you're competent to be a student. Which is, you have intelligence, you already passed through the selection process, you've already proven that you are a competent student. If you tend to be low in competence, you're going to set yourself up to fail because you don't think you can do it. So this attitude that you can is critical starting off. So no matter all of the different that the Wi-Fi having to travel during the classes, not knowing other people in there, you are already have to say to yourself, I already passed through the level of competency I need to be a student. And that foundational sense is critical for moving forward. Order is a personality trait. If you're high in it, you know what you need to put in place when you have a task. Some people, when they're low in it, they don't even know where to begin. We see this a lot with undergraduates in their high school. Their parents structured everything for them. They come to university, it's a different structure. They don't even know that if they have
you're a little muffled, Doc. You're a little muffled.
Sorry, they don't even know that if they have a mid-semester, that they have to start doing the research at a certain time, do a draft by a certain time, speak to others about it. They don't know the order of things, that things have to happen if you're low in order. If you're low in order, that's a trait. You never ever thought about what do I need to think about when I have a project? What is the order in which things need to be done? If you're a person who breaks properly, you tend not to be orderly. If you're like that, then you know that to succeed as a student, you will have to meet up with someone else at the beginning of every class that you're in and put a timeline in place for yourself, because you can't do it naturally. If you're high order, you do it naturally. You plan things out, it's there. But if you know for yourself that you tend to be the person who don't know how things work, what needs to come first, X, Y, and Z, you're just like that normally. To succeed, you have to be high in order. And to do that, you may need help. Admit it. Don't bother with it. I feel bad about this and I'm ashamed. I can't talk about. Don't bother with that. From the very beginning, and again, you can contact Ms. Thomas online and put together a timeline together. So do one for yourself. Be one of the keys to success in being a student is to be orderly. And to be orderly is to know what needs to be done. And so for all of your programs, look at the course outline, look at the assignments, and have a timeline in place from now. Dutifulness is a sense that if you put yourself towards something, you have a duty to complete it. Not everybody feels that way. And you know, some people have the luxury of people paying for their degree for them. So, you know, if I don't feel like finishing, so what? I can drop out for a year, whatever. Some people, who are high in dutifulness, if they have no money to do a program, because they're in the program, they have a duty to complete. They find the way to complete. And so, if you tend to be low on dutifulness, when the challenges come for the program, you are less likely to go through with it. So if you're low in dutifulness, you need a person to confide in. So when the challenges come up, you say, hey, I need you just to boost me through this right now because I don't have it naturally to do that. I don't have that sense of being committed, or I tend to think, hey, you know, they're always going to offer this program. I can do it 5 years from now. Let me put some other things in place. You're not going to get through with that attitude. So if you know you tend to be low in dutifulness, you need someone to confide in. you need to know, you need the person that you can go to and say, there are critical times when I'm going through and I'm admitting to my feelings. I need to come to talk to you, and you have to be the person who pushes me forward. Because that's not one of my personality traits. That's one of my weaknesses. If you have a high sense of duty, you're good. You will complete, because you have this strong sense that what you put yourself to, you have to complete it. You have the sense of duty. High achievement seeking is just persons who want their accolades, and they want the titles after their name. They want the rewards and so. And when they don't get it, they feel bad. So they will achieve what they put themselves to, not because they have a sense of it, not because they have a sense of duty, but because they want the prestige that comes with it. They want to say that they have, they have accomplished this or that. Unfortunately, sometimes those persons will cheat to get ahead, because getting those achievements is more important than anything else. Sorry. Sorry. Unfortunately, sometimes with the persons who are high in achievement striving or achievement seeking, they will cheat to get ahead, because getting the achievement is most important to them. Since we have a lot of things in place, to catch plagiarism and those things, we can hope that those who are high achievement seeking will do it, do it honest and the proper way. So if you're low in achievement seeking, that is, you're humble, you don't really need to have any, a degree. You don't really need to say that you went to UWI. That might be a challenge for you when the going gets rough. So just be aware of that for yourself. Self-discipline is going through the torture that you need to go through, putting up with what you need to put up with. You have the discipline to do that. You can, once you put a structure in place, you can abide by it. And when things come in the way that will disrupt that, you already know, just to say you're very good at setting up boundaries and say, there are certain things I cannot deal with at this time. And you have no problems with saying that, because people will know you for that. By now, you would know yourself if you're high in self-discipline. People will know you for that, and they know, hey, once he or she set a schedule for him or herself, when the time comes, they're there. They put themselves there, nothing is going to interrupt. So if you're not like that naturally, make it a new personality trait that you have, that people know that about you, especially in your family and especially at work. So you have to find a way to say to your bosses or whoever, you gave me the time to be doing in this program. I know there are times when we have to do overtime, but it's very important to me that I stick to the schedule to succeed in this program, and be known for that, because it makes it easier for you when the time comes for you to stick to that. And deliberation is a sense of thinking things through. Now, at UWI, we want to pride ourselves and say that we're creating students who deliberate. So even if you came to UWI without that, we want to pride ourselves on critical thinking. So if you're not already there, we're hoping that the program will do that. At this level and at the program that you're in, you're going to have to do a lot of critical thinking. And so if you're not a person who's like that, you are going to find from the group discussions and stuff that you become a person like that. And I would think that it is a good trait to develop as you move into being into human resources, that you can think things through. You can share those thoughts with persons about what are the critical points for making a decision, and that you will have that as a trait that, if it's not developed, will be developed in this program. I want to give some time for questions to do with those.
All right. When the unexpected happens, how do these traits help you? Because with the best will in the world, you put a plan in place and it falls apart. You know, to find that inner strength to keep going. You know, it's more than self-discipline. It's more than duty. I don't know. I don't know. But there's some other it factor which causes some people to go through fire to achieve, and others are apparently there on the cusp of success, and yet they don't manage it.
All right, so it is true that, as we say in psychology, history happens. In research psychology, that history happens, which is to say there are some avoidable events that will throw your research off and all of your best plans. And sometimes you can work that into, because you've been doing research for a long time, you can work that into your research, but other times you can't. Your whole thing gets lost. And so, yeah, there might be something, that happens. Yeah, all of your family members get COVID, and the government finds a secret quarantine place to put you for a month. It'll screw you up. And yeah, you won't have any control over that, But what I'm saying is, with these being high in these traits, when the normal challenges come along, you will already be disposed to dealing with them, because these personality traits, when you're high in them, has been practiced. So for most of the normal challenges, you will be able to ride through them. And what I'm encouraging is, if you are honest with yourself about where you fall on those personality traits, if you know you're low on them, start from now to put in place being high in those traits. So when the challenges come, you can ride it through. Oh, yeah. I don't see where somebody said that headset is not working for you. Sound quality has gotten really bad. Oh Lord, on my words of wisdom.
What I was asking if you can give one or two words on study techniques, just ordinary study techniques, because part of the self-discipline, I think, too, is and part of the dutifulness and so on. It's the knowledge of how to actually do things, because you can. People who get distinctions tend to have certain practices. Can you share some of those practices then? The person's just starting out, so they start out strongly. You mentioned a few already. Don't wait for the last minute to do your work, to do your assignment. Have a plan and that sort of thing. But what other things can they do?
All right. I'm going to share a screen with you here. There's this proven, and I'm sure some of you have heard about it, technique called A.S.P.I.R.E. And again, you can find it online, very easy to do. And it allows you to gear your own self towards getting stuff in place. So again, write this down, please. They're all uppercase and a full stop after each. A.S.P.I.R.E., a study system. And go through it for yourself. It outlines for you what you need to study in any program. So some of it, like you said, we have done before. Your approach and your attitude, the first one, has to be positive. So those are there. And then just go through it for yourself. There's a whole bunch of for it that it explains to you what is a good study technique. So what I usually recommend with this is that you print it out, and when you look through it at first, just put a tick beside the things that you are already good at. So all of us have, because you have reached this far, all of us have techniques that have worked for us. And so to have the very first thing, to have the right attitude, go through it and just tick the things that you're already good at. Because you want to feel some accomplishment with that. And then because you're moving into a new level of studies, there are a few new things that you have to put in place. And then the ones that you didn't tick, that's where you need to put some concentration. No, the one that is going to surprise a lot of people, because you're all bright, is that and you have heard it before, is to sparse out how you do your reading, and you have to read. Because most of us who have done very well in school, we do the reading at the last time, we do not consume the information because we're doing it at the last moment, but we have this amazing ability to retain. But near the end of the semester, what happens to a lot of us is that we don't, because of fatigue and the length of the semester, and then now with a pandemic which is putting more stress on us, you're going to find that more people are asking for a leave of absence at the near the end of the semester, because they're not able to retain. So you're going to read that aspect where it says you have to parse out your reading, and you'll say, oh yeah, fine, they always say that. But that one you really have to put in place. So please, I highly recommend this approach. Google it, print it, tick the ones that you're already good at, and then concentrate on the areas that you need for you're weak at, and start that from now. Are people still not hearing me?
You need to keep the mic near your mouth.
Keep it up. Okay. Yeah. All right. So I am very much aware of the time. I've just posted the acronym. And if you would just look that up, and what I'm recommending is that you print it. Don't just look at it on the screen. And please don't, because of what I just said, please don't let a takeaway be that for all of your courses and for your reading, you need to print everything. No, we do have different relationship with the screen. And you can learn to adjust to read it on the screen. So don't let it be a takeaway that the best way to interact with your reading material is to print it. That's something I don't want that to be a takeaway. But for this one, because you want to keep going back to it and have it ready, please print it. All right, I had a lot more with the traits I want to post, but like I said, just of the time.
Not hearing you, Doc.
Sorry, there's a lot more with the personality traits that we could go through, but just to be respectful of the time. So could we just have a period?
Just to share, this is Ron again, and I'll be off.
Are you hearing me better with this?
Yes, I heard you better with that.
Yes, Thomas?
Yes, I heard you better. I'm hearing you better now.
Okay. I'm just making one last point before I come off this call. To the students, I heard Doc talking about reading, which is very important, but I found that a very useful way to help me to read a lot of materials, and it is through having the materials read to me. So there is this feature, if you have Adobe, there is this feature that actually allows the materials to be read to you. I'd suggest that you do some research around that. I found it to be excellent. So I could be doing something and I'm listening to an article being read to me while I'm doing whatever I'm doing. So, you know, I pretty much use that now to the point I've gotten so accustomed to it. So my brain is getting lazy reading some stuff rather than hearing it. So that's one of the things I'd probably suggest. If you're not the person who likes to sit down and, you know, read through a lot of stuff, you can listen it if you're auditory.
Oh, well, the individual learning styles differ, and it would be good if at the master's level, people have a good idea of what his or her learning style is. There are little tests that you can do online that will let you know about it. They're not very good actually, but they can give you an idea. And the reason for doing it is for you to know that for some things, you need to try new things. So as was just suggested, to listen, to have an audio of the material may be helpful. But if that's not your learning style, it may not be helpful for you. The critical thing for you to know what your learning style is and try different things, because you're going to be bombarded by so much during this semester. So trying out different things may not be a bad thing. But first, know what your learning style is.
And one of the things I would say is it's a truism, I suppose, read before class, so that when you get to class, you actually know what you don't know. So you can ask sensible questions and sometimes you think you know something, it sounded logical in class, but when you went out, you realize you really didn't grasp it. So for me, reading before the class, as much as people always say it, but it really does work. I know that when the classes that I've invested time in before the fact, I've actually done very well in those. So, you know, that's another thing I would put on the table.
The thing with reading before class, it works for a lot of people, and it especially works when you have a structure or a schedule that you follow. If you are working a long day and going to class, it is not going to work, and it's going to frustrate you. So yeah, it's ideal if you can put in place where maybe during your lunchtime you can give 15 minutes to read in, but it cannot be done in a very packed day. So just be aware of that for yourself. So what is sometimes recommended, and again, it has to do with your learning style, what is sometimes recommended is that if you have a long day, if you're going to be in school, then you start getting up a little earlier and reading. Or if you know that at the end of the day, when most people pop down, you still have some energy and you always have problems falling asleep, then you read for the next day. But that doesn't work for everybody, because you may fall asleep and everything goes. So experiment with, in terms of preparing for class, what works for you. And then knowing that the ideal is to read before class, because you do get your mind thinking about the topic, and then when the presenter speaks about it, it's not brand new to you, so it is helpful. Knowing that that is ideal, structure your day that you can do the reading before class. But if you can't structure your day to do that, do not burden yourself with the reading before class.
But I was thinking of blending some of the things that we've said here. So suppose I read a chapter and Rohan read a chapter and you read a chapter. We're all in the same study group and we share my recording of my chapter with you. So you're hearing it, we're supporting each other. So that's one of the techniques we were using. We're using Rohan's reading, you know, the auditory thing, and we're doing my reading before class. So I've read my chapter and I've heard yours and heard his while I'm driving to work or something like that. So we could begin to come up with new ways of blending these various tips to make something new for this kind of time.
Right, and the critical thing there is to commit to that, to say, I'm a student now, and to succeed this semester, I have to put some structures in place. And that blended one could be it, but if it happens haphazardly, it is not going to work. And so the point I made at the beginning is to now think about your semester and how it is going to play out, and put some things in place about yourself and your environment to make this work. So even the A.S.P.I.R.E, do it now. Put, say, if this is a recommendation for studying Dept, what can I put in place now to have that happen?
Any other questions? Alan?
So in most companies, there's a model that the staff has a staff retreat, or either to wrap up the year, or a planning retreat at the beginning of your calendar year. If that's a model for you already, perhaps, and it works for you, and you're in that mode from being an employee, perhaps before school gets really going, have a day for yourself, and if you can reach out to some other student, but have a day for yourself where it's a day to plan for this semester, to prepare for the semester. Consider it critical for being a student and planning for your semester.
Close the door if you're going to leave the mic on.
I'm sorry? Oh. Are there any other questions or even comments?
I have a comment. I believe that I know that sometimes students will say that a class is boring and those things, but the onus is not on the lecturer only to make the class interesting. So it would be good if you guys try to participate more and even show your videos to kind of have that feeling of face-to-face, seeing that you're not in a physical space together. Kind of helps to keep your focus. So that's all I'd say, you know, think about that.
Any other comments at this time? I turn it over to Ms. Thomas to bring us to an end.
Well, last opportunity, people. Nothing more? Paula?
A quick question. I hear since we're talking about studying at this point, and I saw the book list that was sent out, and I was trying to decide or understand which ones would I really need to purchase, or do I just wait until the lecture sessions, then we are guided?
Yes, you can wait until the lecturer speaks with you, but if you'll notice that some of them say prescribed and others are highly recommended, you would go with prescribed above highly recommended. But wait for the lecturers and wait for us. We might have some gifts for you, but you know, just wait. Don't rush into the bookshop.
Thank you.
I noticed that some people have been posting some ideas about study techniques and so, and that is definitely one way, sharing that type of information that we can help each other. So encourage to start, to continue doing that with each other. Over to you, Ms. Thomas.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Doc. As usual, you've come back to the HRD family yet another year. So please join me. Some people, I can't hear you. We're in a... Okay, good. Yes, I'm seeing you. Thanks, Susan.